The modern world has set you up to fail, and they're doing this by poisoning your food supply, taking your mental clarity, your confidence, and your vitality right from underneath you. And I know this because I've experienced this firsthand. I've experienced addiction, crash dieting, bloating, low confidence, and gut issues that were literally so bad that I used to spend days on the couch crying at how much pain I was in. This was even after trying every single diet under the sun: low carb, paleo, keto. Literally nothing fixed all of the issues that I was experiencing until I understood that my issues weren't necessarily physical, but they were spiritual as well. Because you probably don't believe it, but the quality of the food that you eat dictates the quality of self-belief that you have. Food isn't just fuel, it's information for our cells. The quality and the type of food we consume directly influences our metabolism, energy levels, and overall vitality. Repeat. You gotta understand that food, the food you eat, literally makes up every single part of who you are on a physical and spiritual level. The macronutrients, the micronutrients, the cells, and the bacteria. It's the only information that gets recorded to make up who you are. And I believe that everyone is sick, unmotivated, and addicted to something literally due to the food that they eat. And I can almost guarantee if you aren't where you want to be right now, then it is the food that you are eating that is creating the environment for you to have negative self-beliefs, negative self-talk, addictive tendencies, and just low confidence in general. If you believe that you aren't good enough to get what you want, then it is the food that you are eating that is giving you that low confidence. If you believe that you need willpower to overcome your vices, to overcome your addictions, then it's the food that you're eating that's creating the environment to give you those beliefs, to give you those thoughts. It's all linked here. It's all linked back to energy. When you're in a low energy state, when you're sitting on the couch and you're kind of tired, your metabolism and your thyroid slows down as a result of being in this low energy state. You kind of go into like a mini hibernation. When you're not eating the food that you know is conducive to having high energy, your body like kind of gets stressed out and goes into hibernation. This is what happens when bears and animals actually go away for the winter. Their metabolism and their thyroid just slows down heaps to preserve their vital organs and to preserve their body. What happens is your body basically signals to your brain and signals to your entire system that it doesn't have the mental resources to achieve your goals. It doesn't have the physical and mental ability and self-efficacy to actually go after what you want to go after and what you want to achieve. So what happens is you start to down-regulate. Your body starts to just go into the shutdown and you naturally start playing small. If you now understand that the food you're eating, the diet that you have is dictating your energy levels, then it also ties into experiencing luck, experiencing opportunity. The root of luck is energy, and the root of energy is digestion. If you're digesting food, thoughts, emotions, and feelings, then you're able to flow. You're able to allow lucky opportunities to come into your life because there is no stagnation. When digestion is interrupted and you have stagnated energy within your body, this is where overwhelm, anxiety, and overthinking stem from. It's like a water pipe that's being clogged with algae. And when overthinking is present in a social situation, overthinking being the algae, you create stagnation. When overthinking it doesn't occur, and when it's not present in a social situation and the water's flowing through the pipe nice and easily, you want to take life by the balls. You want to be social. You want to be around people. You want to take risks. It's all linked here. You allow flow when overthinking isn't present in your life, whether that's a social situation or doing work, whatever that looks like for you. Social interaction will always feel overwhelming and scary when you're in a state of low energy, when you're lethargic. This is why the core of being charismatic actually ties into metabolic health and actually being metabolically healthy. When your health and metabolism is high functioning and you feel amazing in your body, then you emit this aura and you become extremely magnetic to people. The glow of your skin, the vibrancy of your eyes, and the depth of your breathing all dictates how people view you. And it all ties back into one thing, which is food and diet. And so what is actually like a diet? Instead of saying diet, even though I am saying it, I started to look at it in a completely different way. There are only really two diets: the stagnation diet and the flow diet. The stagnation diet consists of any foods that nature cannot create an abundance of. These things are low in nutrients, low bioavailability, hard to digest, unnatural, and inflammatory. The flow diet consists of any food that nature can pretty much create plenty of. These things are easy to digest, they're commonly found, and they keep the metabolic rate high. The most important element in my scheme of life is my diet. You cannot expect a machine to function well if you do not provide it with the proper fuel. Nikola Tesla. So the food that Tesla ate in a day was massively contributed to what he invented and to how his day actually unfolded. And so he was one of the greatest inventors and thinkers in the modern time. And so it was actually reported that he preferred 2 meals a day, one for energy through the daytime and one for replenishment through the night, consisting mainly of raw milk, seasonal fruits, and beef. You see, when you can maximize the flow of energy and when you can digest food easily, you actually unlock your inner genius. I don't hear many people talk about this, but there is a direct link between the industrialization of food and the lowering of the collective intelligence. Everyone just seemed to get a lot more stupid after the food was industrialized. And it's no wonder why there aren't any individuals like Tesla, Plato, or Marcus Aurelius in the modern day. It's all linked to the food that we're eating that's keeping our true nature, our true genius, inventive nature as human beings at bay. And the industrialization of food has basically numbed and divided the human spirit. And it's causing us to play small. So how can you actually maximize your metabolic energy? What can you actually take away from this video? There's a few things that I want to talk about that will be extremely powerful, so listen in. Avoid anything that nature, the natural world, cannot create plenty of. Like I mentioned previously, next time you're going to eat something, ask yourself, can nature create an abundance of this thing? And so an example of things that nature can't really create that much of without human interaction and modification are things like nuts, seed oils, grains, legumes, fibrous vegetables, and any like processed packaged foods. These are all scarce in nature without human interaction, without us interfering with the natural process of the flow of energy within nature. We have to create nuts, we have to create vegetables, like we have to spray the crop. These are all scarce in nature without human consumption and, like modification and interaction. If you cannot identify the original source of where this particular food that you're about to eat came from, then it is probably a good sign to avoid it. Milk, honey, fruit, and eggs. The idea that milk, honey, fruit, and eggs are bad for you is based on the idea that the government has convinced you of this. They cannot control these things at a large scale. Because if you think about it, a few cows, a bit of land, a few chickens, a beehive, and an orange tree gives you enough nutrients, you'll never have to step into a grocery store ever again. You would have everything you needed, all of the nutrients, you would be sustained. And so this is why they do not like you having autonomy over what you can consume. When you can't monetize the food industry, when you can't monetize what people are consuming, then you cannot control the human spirit. And so they've convinced us that these particular things that they can't control at a large scale, they've convinced us that these things are bad for us under the trope that, sugar is bad, cholesterol is bad, saturated fat is terrible for you and it's going to give you heart attacks, and bacteria is bad for you. They've convinced us that these things are terrible and created this fear around these 4 things, even though they failed to mention that we literally survived and thrived off of just these 4 things for thousands and thousands of years, literally maybe millions of years, without pasteurization, homogenization, or genetic modification. What needs to be mentioned is that the source of these 4 foods are so important. They need to be locally sourced, farmers, organic, and pasture raised. They need to be less from the government and more from the people. If you're buying eggs in a supermarket, I can guarantee you that the chickens that laid those eggs were stressed out and weren't in natural conditions. The more that you eat these four food groups, milk, honey, fruit, and eggs, the more your metabolic rate increases. The faster your metabolism is, the more energy that you have. The more energy that you have, the more mental, spiritual, and emotional reserves you have to go after what you want and to believe in what you want and actually feel in your body that you're capable of achieving your deepest dreams. Now you know that the food that you consume directly dictates the life that you live, the life that you will experience here, being your only life that you have. The choice becomes pretty simple. The next time you're going to eat something, ask yourself, is the food I'm about to eat going to allow more flow? Is it going to allow more energy into my life? Is it going to be easily digestible? Or is it going to leave me lethargic, depressed, and depleted of dopamine and just wanting to sit on the couch all day and not go out there and actually talk to people and experience the life that you were always meant to live? The choice, I believe, becomes extremely simple. If you got value out of this video, go down right now and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Have an amazing day.